welcome to Home Geekery.
Hi.
So we got a couple of things that we're going to talk about this episode. A couple of them are Defenders of the Realm, Metal, Magic, and Lore, the Call of Cthulhu RPG.
Gaming paper.
I
know you wrote a little bit about it on the blog, but we can show it in action.
And we'll probably talk about a few odds and ends, movies and shows.
And we have a giveaway. Contest.
Yay!
And there was much rejoicing. Now, this is an idea, I believe it was on Kickstarter first, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in fact, they have a new Kickstarter project coming up soon, I believe. But the website is www.gamingpaper.com.
Easy enough.
It's really easy.
And what it basically is disposable mats for playing RPGs. You can use it for dungeon walls and for everything you use a wipe away mat for, just that it's disposable. At first, she wasn't too keen on the idea. Go ahead and tell me. Tell me.
Well, I mean, I could see some uses for this. Well, you can see right here. This is what we did with it. We're playing. In fact, I think it was Tomb of Horrors that we were playing.
This was Tomb of Horrors. I recognize that first entryway with the pit traps and.
So that's what we tested it on, and I guess
the chapel.
I could see it handy for some things. I mean, you can pre-draw out the map and just unroll it as you go, and actually keep it.
Or
you could just throw it away when you're done. Well, see, the thing I don't like about that is I'm a tree hugger, and so I'm not exactly keen on the idea of just buying a bunch of that and throwing it away all the time. I still prefer the regular mats where I can dry erase them, or wet erase. What is it that he uses?
We use wet erase.
We use the wet erase. I like that I can reuse them over and over and over again and not feel bad about it.
I, on the other hand, do not feel bad about it. I feel that it's a pretty good idea. I like the idea that no fuss, no muss. You just rip off a piece, put your dungeon out, and you're done. Especially the quality of the paper. I really, really like it, being that it's not too thick, not too thin. It doesn't have a...
It's like wrapping paper and feel.
But different in that it doesn't smear. Like we used our wet erase markers on that. Didn't smear at all. We spilled food and drink on it. It soaped it up like a pro, and you could still see the game really well. So I really liked it. I thought it was a really good idea. The price would be a bit steep, however. But other than that, for disposable paper, the price was a little high again, but other than that, I really like the paper. I like the idea. A lot of people don't have a mat like we do. We've got a really huge one, and we've got a smaller one, but we were moving. We were in the process of moving, and we couldn't find our mats at the time. So that's the reason that it came in really handy.
That was horrible. I hated that.
But for moments like that, it's great to have a roll lying around the house. Speaking of role-playing games, we did get a chance to test this out, the 6th edition of Call of Cthulhu. Chaosium actually sent it to us, and I'm not sure if they normally send out product for review, but the person I spoke to was really cool about it, and he sent us this. We played a couple of games with a friend. Well, some friends. We had a party of 8?
Yeah, one of our friends DM'd it, and was it his own homebrew that he did?
No, he said that was a module.
That was a module? So I didn't make it very far in the game. I got knocked in the head with a
2x4.
No, it wasn't a 2x4. I think it was
shotgun.
It was the butt of a shotgun. I got knocked unconscious. Yeah. So I didn't make it too far in the game. But
as far as rules go, it's basically, if you've ever played any of the previous editions, this is the 6th edition. It plays the same. It uses the same basic role-playing system, the percentiles. I didn't really find much of a difference, but then again, if it's not broke, why fix it? So.
And I really enjoyed this system. I'm a Cthulhu fan. I love playing those dark, creepy games.
Yeah, I think every geek out there is a Lovecraft fan somewhere.
I don't know about that. I'm sure there's some out there that don't particularly love the genre.
If you're not, give it a try. If you are, perfect. I mean, a lot of people are familiar with the 2nd edition and the 5th edition. Well, there's a new edition out, basically the same, just the slight differences are very small, and the placement of things are easier to find in the book. And again, it's not a really big difference, but like I said, if you're not a Cthulhu fan, pick it up. You might like it. If you are, there you go. It's a good starting point for those who don't know the mythos.
As I've said in previous posts, I have been DMing a Pathfinder game. And, when I started playing RPGs, I started out on 3rd edition D&D. That was kind of what popped my cherry, I guess. And that
was my fault.
So that's kind of where I feel most comfortable at. When 4th edition came along, I did give it a try. I didn't care for it. So I don't play 4th edition. So instead I turned to Pathfinder, which is kind of just 3.5 revamped a little bit. And I've been really enjoying it. And this is my first venture as a DM. I'm still not comfortable with it. But I did find a cool module. It was called From Shore to Sea. And it's for 6-level characters. And I really liked it because it had a Cthulhu feel to it.
Very Lovecraftian.
I brought my characters through it, and I had anywhere from 4 to 7 players at a time, because our group of gamers kind of fluctuates depending on who can show up. And I really liked the writing of it, but once I put it into play, I didn't feel as comfortable with it. I didn't feel like my game was as enjoyable as I had hoped it would be. I think my players feel different about it, so that's, I guess, I'm my own worst critic kind of thing.
We had a good time. The thing is, it was different in the fact that she scaled it for a larger party, and the module was set for what, 5th level?
It was a 6th level adventure.
6th level. We were at 5th level.
But the players were anywhere from 5 to 6 in level.
So we had a tougher time with some of the monsters, and some of the monsters we blew through. It was quite easy. But the final battle, we kind of had our butts handed to us, and yeah.
That'll teach you.
I'll leave that at that. Do you remember who the name of the author is on that one?
The module was written by Brandon Hodge, and you can find it at...
Paizo?
Is it pronounced Paizo? I always say Paizo.
I used to say Paizo, but I found out I stand corrected. It's Paizo.
It's Paizo?
It is Paizo.
Paizo. Okay.
Paizo.com.
So you can find the module on there anyways. Like I said, I really liked the story idea of it. But once I executed it, I wasn't so comfortable with it. But Bill was a player, so he has a different perspective.
I enjoy getting to play whenever I can. I usually run the game. In fact, speaking of which, we were continuing those characters, and she made up a character of appropriate level. There was a module called Cage of
Delirium.
Cage of Delirium. Now, I decided to do this one for a reason. It was unique. It's by a company called Goodman Games, and they put out what they try to get is that old school feel back from, if you like, the 1st and 2nd edition of D&D, where all the NPCs are expendable and everything is there.
It's part of their Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Dungeon Crawl Classics. Now, this was made specifically with a band whom we spoke about briefly. Their name is Midnight Syndicate. And with them in mind, they collaborated with this module to make an eerie ambiance, where at certain points in the module, you'd play this as background music. And in some cases, it was more than just background music. It was actual clues and hints in the noises that you heard. This is for 3.5, and it can be adjusted for Pathfinder, like I did. And it takes place in an old, abandoned, burnt-down asylum. Now, it's a great read. The module's phenomenal. The music is well done. It's very professional. It goes together so well. Now, the only thing the players had a problem with was the fact that it seemed too
modern.
Like it would take place in the 20s or even the 1800s.
Yeah, it definitely felt like something that would fit really easily into the Cthulhu game or something a little more modern. It's enjoyable though. It is an enjoyable game.
But for instance, they have things like grandfather clocks in the foyer of the place, where in D&D and Pathfinder we've got a water clock. Nowhere near.
I suppose if you really wanted to, you could go through and tweak it yourself.
Sure.
To kind of bring it back into the D&D type world. But I found the module really enjoyable.
I found as a gaming DM that the players were, instead of talking and doing their normal table chatter, they actually were quiet and listening for clues at parts.
Yeah, it definitely helps if you have a chatty gaming group, because the only way they're going to get their clues is if they quiet down and listen.
So that's a big plus.
That's handy, yes.
And another big plus is, again, with Midnight Syndicate, their mood music is phenomenal. They're one of the best out there. I remember when I first got the first Dungeons and Dragons CD from them, I was like, oh, look, honey, D&D has a soundtrack. So yeah, they don't hold back. They don't pull punches.
And we're eventually going to review some of their stuff, because we have a few of their CDs to listen to. We started to listen to them. A lot of their background music is set more for a gothic kind of background, like if you're playing Vampire or games similar to that style. A lot of their music is catered to that. But I do enjoy them, and they seem like really super friendly people. They love their fans, definitely. So
but that's the one drawback with this module, is the fact that it seemed too gothic-y and modern to be D&D. So, and that's not either one of their fault. It's not fault of the writers, because you can just plop it into a Call of Cthulhu game. You can get that at goodmangames.com. And Cage of Delirium.
It's written by Wesley Snyder.
Wesley Snyder. Be sure to pick that up and give it a try. Yeah, this company I've never heard of put out a game system I've never heard of, and I was just scheduled to run a demo at this convention. So I get the demo packet, and I'm looking through it, and I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm sure I'm doing this as a last-minute demo rush, but oh my God, this is one of the greatest systems. It's very realistic. It's very, very combat-oriented, but it feels real. The use of armor and shields and then the hit locations, without being overly crunchy, where it's tables and tables and you're trying to do math. It's not like that at all. The game system, first let me tell you, is called Metal, Magic, and Lore, and it's by Fifth Epoch Games. And I got to tell you, the authors of this have made one of the best game systems I've read, next to Hackmaster, which you must look at it. I'll talk about another time when I get the player's handbook. But Metal, Magic, and Lore, all I can say is I was so impressed. Little details. For instance, it utilizes the fact that female characters would be better suited toward magic because of their being more attuned to nature, which makes sense, in my opinion, that the male characters are better suited to combat. Although, again, you don't have to be restricted by anything. Females can be great fighters, as I've learned with the dwarf that I had demoing. She was kicking everyone's butt. The fact that arrows, bows and arrows, and shields, everything just works right, and it feels real easy to play. You just jump right in and start playing. Another thing, the magic system is revolutionary. I've never ever seen anything quite like it before, and it's just a lot of fun. And this book here, I went and bought the whole system after playing the demo and demoing this game. As you can see, I've got the hardbound. This is called the classic cover. There's two covers, and it's got everything detailed from backstory of the game itself and history. It's got it's basically if you were to play Lord of the Rings exactly the way the movies and books are. This is exactly how it would be.
And what's this book right here?
Now that I'm going to get to. That's the companion book for that, for if you're a game master and you wish to run a campaign. That's optional. This is all you truly need to play the game, the original book. So this here, like I said, is the source book for campaigning if you want to travel, like getting pack horses and sort of when the hobbits were going to Mordor. If you can picture the trek they had, this would fully take care of that. Also, I picked up these through their site. These are Game Master resource discs. They have bestiaries and monsters on here and extra rules for just the GM to see. And it's just, it's got some errata. There's really not much. The books are really good. But this has everything you need. I've got the base system, the core book for the players. Everyone at the game table should have one. It's got the GM's travel source book. And I've got both Game Master resource discs. With these alone, you can create any scenario you can think of. It's such a great system. And I know you can't see this, but the way it deals with armor packages, depending on what race you are. Break it down! Hi, this is Bill. Sorry I can't talk to you right now. I'm reading my copy of Metal Magic and Lore. Say, if you'd like 15% off this game as well as anything else by Fifth Epoch Publishing, be sure to go to their website at fifthepochpublishing.com. You will get 15% off anything in the store. Hey, that includes one book, that includes all of the books, that includes CDs, that includes PDFs. Use my preferred customer number. That number is 2111BC2. Again, it's 2111BC2. Put that in the field that's marked Add Special Instructions to the Seller. You'll find that right under where you put the shipping address. And get this, tax and shipping is paid. Vito and Andrew take care of the tax and the shipping. How can you say no? So go ahead on to fifthepochpublishing.com and tell them Bill from Home Geekery sent you.